In this video, I'm going to talk about ISIS operation over broadcast link. You know that in previous video, I talked about the ISIS operation over point-to-point links, and in this video, we need to learn about the ISIS operation and its function over the broadcast links. You know that in ISIS we have two network types. The first is point-to-point and the second is broadcast. In broadcast networks or in multi-access network, ISIS uses the DIS function or designated IS function. We talked about the designated IS in the for example previous videos, and we learned about the function of this router. After that, now we can learn more about the ISIS operation over broadcast link. As you know, in point-to-point links, ISIS uses one type of hello. We call it level 1 level 2 hello or level 1 level 2 IIH. But in the broadcast links, we are using two type of IIH or two type of ISIS hello, L1 hello and L2 hello. In this video, I'm going to show you both of these, for example, types of hellos, and we will learn about this hellos function. Look at here. In this example, we have R1, R2, and R3 connected to the one switch, and because R1 connected to switch 1 and R2 also to switch 1 and finally R3 to switch 1 with the Ethernet interface, they are using the broadcast network types in ISIS. And because I'm going to show you both type of hello, I am going to configure three routers as level 1 2 router, but assume that we configure all router as level 1. We have only level 1 hello. We configure all routers as level 2. We have only level 2 routers. Or we configure all of the routers with level 1 2. We have the level 1 and also level 2 hello. I'm going to show you the last for example type. In this type we are using the level 1 level 2 routers in all routers, because I'm going to show you how L1 hello is forwarded and what is the content of L1 hello and also L2 hello. The first thing that we should know is for example ISIS packet. First, I'm going to configure this scenario. After that, we can talk about the ISIS packet. This is the ISIS packet, and after that we will learn about some features of the ISIS operation over broadcast link. Let me to start the configuration of this scenario. This is the CLI of the router 1. We can configure the R1. I didn't configure anything because I'm going to show you all of the parts of the scenario. Because of that, now we should configure first R1. Conft, the host name is R1, for example. The interface ETH00 or interface fast Ethernet 00 has this IP address 10.0.0.1, then 255.255.255.0, no shutdown. Let me to configuring the next router, router 2, EN conft interface fast Ethernet 00. The IP address is 10.0.0.2.255.255.255.0, and then no shutdown. Finally, host name is the for example router 2. That's it. And finally router 3, en conft, the host name is router 3 or R3 interface fast Ethernet 00. The IP address is 10.0.0.3.255.255.255.0, no shutdown. Now we can configure ISIS. Let me to check the connectivity between these three routers. Ping 10.0.0 for example 2 from the router 1. We have connectivity, and also ping 10.0.0.3. That's it. Let me to configuring the ISIS. For ISIS, because we need to have neighborship in both L1 level and L2 level, we need to configure the same area ID. Let me to configuring with these net addresses. You learned about the net address design in the previous videos. Router ISIS. Then for example, net can be 49.0.0.1, then quad 0, again quad 0.0.0.0.1.0.0. Then IS type, we don't need to configure IS type because this is the level 1 2 router, and only we need to configure log adjacency change all. And after that, we need to configure interface fast Ethernet 00. with the IP router ISIS command. Okay, let me to configure first all of the routers, and after that we can capture the link between the for example router 1 and router 2, and also router 1 and router 3. Let me to go to the router 2. In router 2 we have router ISIS. Don't forget, I didn't configure the ISIS circuit type on the fast Ethernet 00 of the router 1. Why? Because I need to use this interface as the level 1-2 interface or circuit. Let me to configure router 2. The router 2, the first command is router ISIS. The second command is net 49001, the same as the for example area ID as we configured in the router 1, and then quad 0 0 0 0 2 0 0. That's it. Log adjacency change all, and then interface fast Ethernet 00 with the IP router ISIS. Now we will have a neighborship between the router 1 and router 2. You know that we need to we expect to see two neighborship. Why? Because both of these routers are level 1-2 routers. Look at here, show ISIS. Okay, show ISIS for example neighbors. As you can see, we have two neighborship with router 1. The first is L1 and the second is L2. Let me to check the status of the router 3. Everything is okay here. Router ISIS. The net is 49001. Then is quad 0 0 0 0 03.00. Log adjacency change all, and the last command is interface fast Ethernet 00 with the IP router ISIS. We should wait. After some second, we expect to see neighborship between the router 3 and router 1 and router 2. Look at here. In router 3, show ISIS neighbors can show us that we have four neighborship here. As you can see, we have two neighborship with router 1. The first is level 1 and neighborship, the second is level 2, and also two neighborship with router 2. It's okay. And after that, in the router 2, we can check it again. For example, show ISIS neighbor, show ISIS neighbor. Again, here also we have two neighborship with both router 1 and router 3. And finally, in router 1, we can check it, show ISIS neighbors. Yes, again, we have two neighborship with every router, router 2 and router 3. You know that in this scenario, we will have one DIS for every, for example, level. Because I didn't configure the priority, the highest SNPA or the highest MAC address should become the DIS, and I wrote the MAC address of the interface of these routers here. Let me to show you, for example, in R1, show interface fast Ethernet 00. This is the MAC address of the fast Ethernet 00 of the R1, or SNPA address of the fast Ethernet 00. As you can see, this is exactly the same with the my writing here. And also in R2, we can check it, show interface fast Ethernet 00. Again, we have the same value. And after that, in router 3, show interface fast Ethernet 00 can show us that we are using the same value as I wrote here. After that, now we can, for example, determine that the DIS in this scenario with the highest MAC address and or highest SMPA is the router 3's interface. Router 3 now is the DIS for both level 1 and also level 2, for example, database. Let me to show you here. We can understand it with the, for example, in R1, let me to use the show CLNS interface. Show CLNS, then interface fast Ethernet 00, as you can see here. We have two DR. The first is for level 1, okay, and you can see that DR is the router 3, and also for level 2 we have the same DR. DR is router 3. You can change the DR for level 1 and level 2. It does not important for this scenario, but let me to show you one time in this scenario. For example, I'm going to configure the router 1 as a DR for level 1. It's so easy. It's sufficient that we go to the interface fast Ethernet 00. I'm using ISIS, for example, priority, and then using the priority of 100 for level 1. This is the level 1 priority of router 1. And also in router 2, I'm going to use the conft interface, for example, fast ethernet 00,